Hi, it's Dan from Kaizen Sports, and today we're going to look at supercharging children's learning within our PE lessons. Most of us have been brought up on the traditional PE diet that is technique into a skill and then finish with a game when it comes to structuring our PE lesson. But the research indicates that these newer approaches are far better for informing children's learning. Technique is repeating similar movements over and over again. So for example, you've got a ball and you're going to throw it to your partner who throws it back. We can make this into a skill by adding some decisions. In this scenario, we've got a defender in the middle, so you now need to think about when you're going to throw the ball and how you're going to throw it the ball. The fact that we're making decisions now turns it from a technique into a skill. And to finish with, we'd then usually progress the skill into a game. In this case, we're going to play 6 versus 6. So technique is great for introducing children to new and novelty skills, but each of those repetitions has to be paired with a decision. If it's not paired with a decision, they won't be able to transfer that learning across into a game. Skills are certainly very useful, but if children don't understand the context of that skill, they won't be able to fit it to the game. And then we move on to the game. Children make much more decisions in small-sided games, 3v3s, than in large-scale games like we have here in our big 6v6. The reality is that you're going to have 3 or 4 players dominating the whole of play and making the majority of the decisions. Some people might not even get to touch the ball, and it's going to switch them off from PE entirely. It's not going to be helpful to their learning in the short or the long term. So what's the solution? Whole part whole is basically game, skill, game. We're going to start with our 3 versus 3 rather than a 6 versus 6, so children are making more decisions. And then when we go into the skill, children will understand the context of the skill that they're practicing before they then go back into the game. This approach has numerous benefits. Number 1, kids won't keep asking, "Can we play a game yet, sir? Can we play a game yet, miss?" We've just played our game, we've now progressed onto the skill section, and then we'll finish with yet another game. Secondly, the children's engagement levels will increase dramatically, especially within the skill section. They know where it fits into the game, and they know that if they practice and become really competent at this bit, they're going to be awesome when they come to play the game at the end. Thirdly, your high achievers are going to stay on task for that much longer. They won't become bored with the technical practice that they can already master. Instead, they're going to be sharpening their skills, and they'll improve much more quickly as a result. The last benefit is that we can peer assess or self-assess within the lesson. We can look at how we started within the game, we can move into our skill, and then we can review again when we visit the game for the second time. And finally, we have the games-based approach. So the game-based approach is playing games all lesson, but we're going to change the rules of each session in order to link to our outcome. So if the topic is passing, you'd set up your 3 versus 3 games and you'd play several different matches, but you'd change each of the rules in order to get the learning outcomes. So for example, your passes might have to be above head height in the first game, then below head height in the second game, a one-handed pass in the third game, then a chest pass, then a bounce pass, one where you look one way and pass the other way, or maybe a pass around the back. After each game, we can discuss the challenges that we faced and what we're going to do about it in order to solve that problem. Here we're getting children to create their own decisions and take real ownership of their own development. In the game-based approach and the whole part whole approach, children are making lots of decisions, which is absolutely essential because it's their quickest route to becoming competent and confident within physical education. On a final note, it's really important that we engage in 2 versus 2s and 3 versus 3s. Children get to spend a lot more time on the ball, which is exactly what they need. If we go into 6v6 and AV8, they're not going to spend much time on the ball, and that cripples their ability to learn. Think about it this way. If you're playing a 2 versus 2, that's 4 people on the pitch. Every minute that passes, you're going to spend roughly 15 seconds touching the ball because you're sharing it between 4 people. As soon as you go into a 6v6, that absolutely plummets to spending just 5 seconds on the ball. In other words, your development will be 3 times quicker if you go engaging in 2 versus 2 rather than a 6 versus 6. Rant over. Hopefully that's been really helpful. As always, any suggestions or experiences, put them in the comment box. Make sure you like and subscribe because that helps the video become more visible to other people as well. Thanks very much, and let me know how you get on with using these new approaches and starting your PE lessons with a game. Thank you.